In this episode of Turning the Page, we dive into the art of juggling stress and nurturing your relationship simultaneously. Join us as we explore practical strategies, insightful quotes, and advice on how to strike a pleasant balance between personal challenges and maintaining a healthy connection with your spouse.
Excuse me.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Turning the Page with
Jer.
and Jel.
I'm Jer. She's Jel.
He's having a morning. Anyways, we are on episode 28.
Yes, we are.
Season 3, y'all.
Yes. Today is a great topic because we're already starting now on the topic and having to figure out how to do this. So, welcome. Join us. Let's go.
Wow. Okay. So what are we talking about today?
So today we are talking about balancing stress and meeting your spouse's needs. But the actual title of that is going to be Harmonizing Hearts. Navigating stress while nurturing your love.
Oh my gosh. That's what we're talking about? Listen.
I got some questions, y'all.
I didn't really prepare for this one.
No, you did not.
Well, if you had the week I had, you would understand. But I just gave him some ideas.
A stressful week.
I gave him some ideas on topics we should talk about, maybe.
Yeah.
And I think this was one of them, and he kind of just made
flourished.
it.
I did my thing.
I haven't even read it.
I magicked up.
So, wow.
I captured magic. See what I did there?
Yes, but nobody knows about it, so they don't know.
Anyways.
All right. So, harmonizing hearts.
Anyways, that's where we're going. So we want to welcome you guys, of course, and glad that you guys are listening. We hope that this is always encouraging and inspiring, which I think today's going to be good. I think we got some good stuff. There's some good questions on here that I'm looking at diving into. Oh. We're not there yet, but we're almost there. I
haven't even read them, so I'll just let you guys have my natural reaction.
You get it fresh. So let's start off with one of the questions. How do you and your spouse currently navigate stressful situations together? Stress is a part of life. Stress is something that we run into probably weekly or daily. You can have stress at home. You could have stress at work. You can have stress at school. You can have stress driving in Albuquerque traffic. That is stressful in itself.
Yeah.
But in the relationship aspect, how do we navigate stressful situations?
You don't get stressed.
I get stressed.
I get stressed.
I have stress sometimes, y'all.
The only time I've ever seen you stressed is work related. And it's like really rare. I think I've seen you stressed about work maybe twice.
Yeah, it doesn't happen too often. But when I'm going to turn these off.
It's not that.
I think it is.
It's my mic.
It's not
now you have to cut this out.
Back there. Maybe that'll work. I just need audio to capture on our camera so I can sync it up. But this is our main audio. So,
okay.
Anyways, back to it. How do you and your spouse currently navigate stressful situations together? So what's something that we do in that sense?
Well, when you get stressed, you don't tell me.
Yeah, I do.
Not really.
Yeah, I've told you when I'm stressed.
It's usually always about work, and you just tell me, oh, this happened at work, and my boss, and then, and the people, and then, and I had to do that, and that's it. We have a conversation. You share your stress, and then I probably say something along the lines like, yeah, but you got it done, and don't worry about that, and you're doing a great job, and blah, 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 blah. That's usually how it goes. We have a conversation.
Yes. But I still have stress at times. I just manage it well.
You literally never share your stress with me.
I do when I'm frustrated at work or something. I come home and tell you, this is what happened. Oh my gosh. Blah, blah, blah. But I don't hold on to it. I tend to voice what I have to say. This is the issue that's going on. One thing that I've learned and I understand is that no matter how I react to the situation or problem that's going on, it's not going to change the problem.
That's true.
And if it's something that I know is coming or I'm going to have to face, well, I'm going to have to face it when I'm in front of it or when I get there. So I try not to stress about everything leading up to it or prior, I guess, and then holding on to it and being like, because I don't like ruining my time for something that I can't control. That's the way I see it.
Okay. Well, on the flip side, I always tell you when I'm stressed.
Yeah.
Which lately has been more often than I would like.
Yeah. True.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's just me telling you, well, I have this going on or this. Sometimes I don't tell you things about work, but
Yeah.
But I just leave it vague and I'm like, well, work was stressful or how to deal with stuff at work or,
Yeah.
I get overwhelmed. I don't like to use the word stress because I don't feel stressed. I feel overwhelmed. That's my term is overwhelm.
But isn't that still stress?
No. Just kidding. I don't know. I don't like to use the word stress. So I just say, I'm feeling overwhelmed. And when I feel overwhelmed, I get anxious about what I'm feeling overwhelmed about. I'm a female. Okay?
Anxiety and stress are the main same thing.
I don't use the word stress. Let me stress. Let me stress
that to you.
I use the word overwhelmed and anxious. Okay. I don't use anxiety. I use anxious.
Well, those are all the same thing anyways. So,
okay, well,
how do you deal with it? What's your go-to to cut that off or to deal with it?
Lately, I have not been dealing with it at all, or well, I should say. I don't know. So in the past, anytime I'm feeling overwhelmed or anxious or anything like that, I would be like, oh my gosh, I had a long day. Okay, I need some wine. Which it's like one of those vices that people go to. Wine, sex, or drugs. Well, what? It's true. Those are natural vices people go to, okay?
Yeah.
Or common, not natural, common. But I try not to do that anymore. And so now I kind of just do nothing. Honestly, I come home. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to talk. Like last night at dinner, you guys were being so annoying, you and Carter. And I, over here in my mind, all thinking about a million different things. And I just made dinner. And then they're like being annoying, which normally doesn't bother me. But yesterday it did because I just wanted peace and quiet. I just wanted to watch my show and eat dinner.
We were not that quiet.
That's how I try to handle my, well, use your word stress, is I need that downtime. And I didn't get it. I'm emotional today.
Yes. Well, I'm going to kind of jump ahead a little bit. So effects of stress, I pulled this yesterday and I was trying to think, I was thinking on my own. I was like, what are some of the things that you deal with when you have a stressful situation? Your emotions are up. A lot of times we want to go to food or we want to go to alcohol or we want to go to
food's another one.
Snacks or something just to, feed that. So I was kind of trying to think of how does stress affect us and what are things that we typically run to. But effects of stress. The stress impact on health can be significant, both physically and emotionally, which we know that. Consider the following downstream effects of stress: colds, flu, viruses, other illnesses, depression and anxiety, fatigue, which a lot of times when you're stressed, you get tired, you want to just do nothing, headaches, heart problems or a heart attack. Stress can get so bad that these are symptoms that can come up. Insomnia or sleep disruptions. You've experienced that.
Yes. So mine is mostly fatigue, insomnia, and overeating. Those are like my three whenever that impact my health whenever I'm feeling overwhelmed or stressed.
Yeah. Irritability and anger at dinner.
Okay, maybe that one too. I have 4.
Overeating, pain, stomach and gastrointestinal problems. Gastrointestinal. Uh-huh. That is something that I think a lot of people experience too, because a lot of times whenever you get to stress, a lot of times just like your body stops functioning properly.
Yeah, maybe you get like constipation or bubble guts, diarrhea.
Gross.
I mean, the stuff happens when you're stressed.
True.
Your body reacts in different ways.
Substance abuse and trouble concentration. So not being able to concentrate, not being able to focus on things when you want to get stuff done. For instance, you come home and you know, okay, I need to do this, this, and this, and you don't get any of that done because you're all over the place.
Yeah. So, knowing that I lately have been stressed, I'm going to do quotations every time I say that one. What do you think you can do to help your spouse relieve some of that stress?
Well, depending where the stress comes from and what it is, but for you, it's you not being overwhelmed at home. If the table's dirty, if dishes are dirty, which has been the thing lately, we've been cooking and had stuff in the sink, and then we've been having an issue with ants, and then that stresses her out.
Who likes ants in their kitchen? I don't like sugar ants.
No one. But my way to try to prevent you from stressing is trying to keep the kitchen and like clothes clean and stuff put away, so that way all my clutter, like all the camera equipment and video equipment and all that stuff, it cannot be on the counter.
I had to let him know.
Freaks her out.
It doesn't freak me out.
Yes, it does.
I just think everything has its own place, and we are working on some shelves.
Every place has a thing, and everything has its
My
place.
point is when I'm stressed, I still have to tell you. You don't just go out of your way and do it without being told. I have to tell you, hey, can you please take all of this equipment off of the counter because I don't like to see the clutter. I have to like actually tell you these things. You don't just do them.
No. Because we just got some new camera equipment that I have been learning and trying to test out. So I do that when I'm home. But I can't do it when she's home because there's other things that got to get done when she's home, right? She's overwhelmed with things. So when she's not home, I have everything close to where I can plug stuff in. I can test it. I can make sure that the audio is recording. I can check the distance. I can look at the what is it called? The monitor and all that stuff. So I've been playing with this to get familiar with it. Well, when I'm done and she's getting ready to come home, I just leave it there because I know I'm going to use it again. So now I have to put it in a case. I haven't been using it because I put it in a case and it's in my closet. But I'm practicing with it today. So there's things that we both do things different, right? Mm-hmm. We both have different ways of doing things. She likes things to be completely clean, and I do too, but I'm okay with having stuff out that I know that we're going to use or we're using or in the process of doing something with it. She don't. She wants to use it, put it away. Boom! It's not seen. It's not heard.
Yes.
You better not even let her
If
smell
you're
it.
not using it, then don't have it out. So this is how I feel.
To take that out though. Took me like 45 minutes this morning just to get all this set up. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. Dun dun dun. Listen. This is how I feel. Okay. Your home, your appearance is a reflection of your inner self. So, if I'm stressed, yeah, my house is going to be a mess, but that makes me more stressed. But when I'm not, my house is clean. I put myself together. Like if you see me not wearing makeup and just lounging in leggings all the time and the house is a mess, then you know something's wrong internally with your wife. I'm just going to put that out there. Like it means I'm going through something. Something's going on. Something's bothering me. I'm not putting in the effort in my appearance or in my home because I don't care. There are other things that are preventing me from doing that, which is mostly my mind, right? So how do I get my mind or my feelings in check? Well, I have to deal with them. And so when I come home and the house is not how it's supposed to be, it's not, I'm not blaming you. It's my fault. It's all of our faults. We all live here. But I'm not putting in the effort and communicating with you and Carter, hey, I need this done. Or I'm like snappy about it. Like when I told you to put your camera stuff away, I was like, you see this? This is how I said it. And I should not have.
And I had just walked in from work. She didn't even tell me hi.
I know.
I made it known though.
I felt so bad.
No, she didn't.
Yes, I did. I realized later, I was like, dang, he just walked in the door and I'm already snapping at him. But
welcome to marriage.
Literally,
y'all.
He comes in and I'm like, I'm doing the dishes, I think, as he's coming in. And, I had just gotten home too. And I was like, oh, I can't stand this. And I started doing the dishes. And so I told him, I was like, do you see all this mess here on the counter? This is all your stuff. I only see one thing on this counter. That's mine. So can you help me by putting it away and putting it where it goes? Because I do not want clutter over here at all, ever. And he just looks at me. He's like, okay. That was it. But that is not how I should have communicated it with you, obviously. And I did realize that. So I take a mental note and I try to do better next time. Because that's all you can do as a human, right?
Yeah.
Is try to do better every day.
Yes. So on this, I'm jumping another number over. I'm going to 5.
Okay.
What are your top self-care practices, and how do they influence your ability to support your spouse?
Top self-care.
So what type of thing when you're getting to the point of stress, do you tend to want to spend more time with me? Relax? Do you talk it out? Do you tend to, I need to go out and hang out with my friends, or I need to get away or do something?
Self-care
what's something that
means something different to everyone. So, like, some people think self-care is going to get a massage, taking a bubble bath, drinking some wine, and maybe leaving the house. Like some people
could be prayer. It could be
So for me,
quiet place, quiet time.
For me, my self-care is quiet. I need it to be quiet. Sometimes it's listening to worship music. Sometimes it's listening to my favorite music. I don't know. Sometimes my self-care is sitting in my car, in my garage before coming in the house. I just sit there. Like 10 minutes, however long I'm on my phone or I'm listening to a song, like before I actually have to come inside. And so like when I would sit there, sometimes Carter hasn't done this lately because he's so tired from his schedule of sports. But I'll sit there, and in the past he would come in and then I'm like, oh my gosh, just go back inside. I'm almost done. And so like I don't think like I know you other moms out there feel me. Like, you have to have that car time. So sometimes I do that. I pray, I listen to worship, or I just plop on the couch and put a mindless show on that I don't have to think, which is usually Gilmore Girls, because it's my favorite show, and I've watched all 7 seasons about 10 times. I'm on season 1 again. But, and then I just relax on the couch. Like, sometimes I just need that because I'm so overwhelmed with everything else that occurred in the day. Like, this past week, not only was work stressful, but I got rear-ended. I had to get on the freeway. Everyone was fine. It wasn't that bad. And guy didn't have insurance. So thankfully, I have uninsured motorist coverage.
We almost didn't have it.
I know, because we almost went back to liability, and I'm so glad we didn't. Yeah. Do I want to pay a $500 deductible? Heck no. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But
yeah,
a lot of other things, like I'm planning orientation for work, for our new student orientation that is tomorrow. And I've been stressing about it all week, and I'm still not done with my presentation that I have to do tomorrow. So I'm like, I got to get that done today. There's just, it's been a long, long week. And then we have Carter this week, so we had to take him to school and take him after school and all of his sport events. And so, and then we had some other stuff in between. I don't know. Can't really remember right now, because we're filming on Sunday, guys. We don't typically film on Sundays, okay? Like, we like to film on Thursdays and have our whole weekend, and that didn't happen. So
yeah.
So it's the self-care. I have to fit it in between all of that, and this week's self-care was literally just wanting quiet, which I haven't had yet. I think last night a little bit, because I started this show and I have one more episode, and it's crazy. But anyways, The Crowded Room on Apple TV, if you all are interested. But you know what? Actually, now that I pointed that out, The Crowded Room, it's a true story about this, like, I don't know, this kid who was raped by his stepdad, but at a young age, but instead of, that kind of trauma causes stress, but most people will turn to common vices, like I mentioned, sex, drugs, and alcohol. But in this case, he did not. He ended up having like a personality split disorder. He had like 24 multiple personality disorder, and he had like 24. This kid grew up to have like 24 different personalities, 24 different identities, and that is how he coped with his stress and trauma growing up. And I'm like watching it last night, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so thankful that I don't deal with my stress in that way.
Yeah.
And then I turned to Jeremy. I was like, what if I had 24 personalities? He goes, babe, your 7 personalities are enough. I was like, I don't have 7 personalities. It was funny, but just be thankful, grateful that you don't that I don't handle my stress in a severe, drastic way like that. I think that my other, going back to your question, my other self-care is like, sometimes I do want a massage. Sometimes I'll ask him, like, babe, can I really get a massage today? Can I get a foot rub? And that helps. I do have to ask. I don't just get them, unexpectedly.
Great things come to those who ask.
But that's okay, because
I need to be more spontaneous in that, yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, but you are very receptive to anytime I do ask for something, like,
yeah.
You're not like,
no, questioning
it, or you don't tell me I'm too tired, or no. And even if you ask me, I tend to also try to meet your needs, just like you try to meet mine. And that's the thing, is handling stress while meeting your spouse's needs is not an easy task.
No.
'Cause sometimes you don't want to meet their needs. You're like, can I wait till tomorrow? But maybe tomorrow won't come, so you got to do it. That's my mentality. But
so with that, stress can really affect your mind. And we've seen multiple times, and I think we all know people that they've gone through traumatic or very difficult times. And we probably know people that have been affected where their mind is not what it used to be. I'm thankful that I'm thankful that we've been able to handle the things that we've gone through without going to that extent. And that's not something that you choose. I don't want to make it sound like, oh, that's something that you choose to do. You deal with things the way you know how, and you deal with things the way you have been taught, I guess.
Well, that's the thing, is sometimes what you've been taught is not necessarily healthy.
Yeah.
So you grew up learning how to deal with stress from your parents. So if your parents dealt with their stress with drugs and alcohol, or going out and coming back drunk, or whatever they did, then you tend to deal with your stresses in life in the exact same way, because you don't know any better, because that's what you've seen, that's what you know, until you become an adult and you realize, oh, this is not healthy. Speaking from experience. So I think it's important to not go through your stress alone. Like, communicate with your spouse.
Yeah.
If you don't have a spouse, communicate with a close friend, a parent, a sibling. Have that have somebody that will listen to you. Have a mentor. Like, sometimes one of my self-care is calling my mentor. Like, I just call her up, and she moved. She doesn't live in New Mexico anymore, but, and thankfully I haven't needed her as much, but I'll call her up like, hey, and she always brings me back down. Sometimes, I'll call my Aunt Julie, because she's another person in my life that, creates less stress. So what I mean is, like, they have a calm and warm demeanor, and when I talk to them, they're all ears, and they listen, and they provide feedback if I ask for it, or they make you there's people in your life that make you feel better, and so who those people are. Call them up.
Yeah.
So
isn't that because, so like you said, they do bring peace in their responses. But one of the main things is they listen. They truly listen.
Yeah, they do.
And a lot of times in the world that we're in, not many people really listen anymore. Everything's so fast-paced and let's go.
Yeah.
That you feel unheard a lot of times. And even in relationship, you can get into that point where you feel that your opinion or your needs are more important than the other person's. And that causes a lot of strife, that causes a lot of issues, and goes from there. But this kind of already says what, have you ever sought external help, such as therapy and counseling, which you've said yes, you reach out to.
Sure.
I haven't done that in a while. I did do that for a while, where I met with Pastor John and John Monty, and he and I were able to discuss things and go through different issues that I was dealing with and things that I was going through. And it is helpful, especially when you're meeting with someone who's much wiser than you, and when you're sharing what you've gone through, and they know. But they're not the type of person that's going to be, oh, I know that. I've done that. Believe me, I've done that. My life.
Yeah.
They take what you're going through and make it like their story. I think that's one of the most important things, that where you feel comfortable to talk to someone and share, is when they're receptive without trying to implement themselves in your situation to put the focus on them now. And I think we see that a lot too, where we do know the people that we try to tell something and they're like, oh, no, you don't need to do that. I've done this before. I've gone through this. And I go, there's a way to share that, but there's a way to share that healthy as well. When you're dealing with issues or stress, the last thing we want to hear or someone wants to hear is, oh, that's easy. I've gone through that. Well, when you're going through something like that, you don't see the end of the tunnel. You don't see the end of that in a peaceful way. And you just need support and comfort and guidance through that. Many times is what I've experienced when I've dealt with it. So I think it's healthy to do that. I think it's really great to have people that are around you that you can trust and that will listen.
Yeah, I agree. So find those people.
Yeah. And they're there. I'm thankful that we have people that are friends of ours and people that are close to us that we can open up about things that we can share, and they share stuff with us as well. And a lot of times when you're going through a situation, you feel abandoned or you feel alone. You feel like you're on this little secluded island and you're the only one that's going through it. But then you share that information with someone or with friends, and they're like, oh yeah, well, we're going through this exact same thing. And a lot of times you don't know that or you don't understand that. So
no, I completely agree. And communication is key. And life is not meant to go through it alone. So your experiences, share them. Your feelings, share them. Because you never know if by you sharing, it might even help that person. Or, and sometimes helping others makes you feel better and it helps you. So I would just say, find those people.
Yeah. There's a quote that I pulled by Mr. Rogers.
Oh,
good
my
old Fred
gosh.
Rogers. Remember him?
Our friendly neighbor?
Yep. It's funny when we look back at stuff, from 30 years, 40 years ago, and you're kind of like, oh man, that stuff's so corny. But in the world that we're in now and what we're dealing with and going through, and the truth that these people spoke back in the days.
Are you going to read the quote in his voice?
No, I'm not. But Fred Rogers said, in times of stress, the best thing we can do for each other is to listen with our ears and our hearts, and to be assured that our questions are just as important as our answers. So, and we kind of shared that a little bit about the importance of, when you share with someone, you want them to intently listen and not take over that whole thing and make it about them. But, and then I like that. I thought that was a great quote. So
that is a good quote.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I have learned from my husband is, like, if I want him to listen, he has to not have his phone, not be on the computer editing or doing anything, and True. It also cannot be before bed. I was like, man, and I always want to talk and communicate and share more
in bed,
right before we go to bed. Like, we're
10:30, 11 o'clock. 11:30.
Well, sometimes it's earlier, but yeah, and because most women, as you know, you go to bed and your mind does not shut off. Men go to bed. Within 5 minutes, they are out. He's snoring in 5 minutes. And I'm like, I'm thinking about tomorrow. I'm thinking about next week. I'm thinking about what I'm going to make for dinner the next day. I'm thinking about Carter's schedule. I'm thinking about, I forgot to look this up on the internet. And then I look it up. I forgot to pay this bill. And then I pay the bill. I should probably I forgot I need to purchase something new for the house. Let me look at that. Like, I forgot to respond to that email at work. Pull out my work computer. Like, this is how my mind works before I go to sleep. Did I turn off the light in the kitchen? Are the doors locked? Let me get up and check. Like, this is what goes through my mind. And I'm like, I forgot to put the clothes in the dryer. I get up and go do that. Like, he just goes to sleep. But I want to talk things out sometimes. I want to share things that I forgot to share with him throughout the day.
Yeah.
And he won't listen at night. So,
well, I will.
Happens.
The thing is, if I'd like to be prepared for it so that way I know. But we'll go and sit down and watch a movie and watch a couple shows, and then by the time I'm done watching the movie, like, I'm relaxed and I'm like, I've let everything out, right? I'm like completely free of anything. We've been cuddling, we've been hanging out. You know, we don't have discussion while we're watching a movie, but once we're done, I'm like, I'm ready for, like, my eyes are already drifting off, and then we go lay in bed, and I'm like, ready. I'm ready for bed.
And I'm wired.
And she's like, let's have a discussion about this.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. So
let's read a book.
No. Well, yeah, we haven't even finished that book. So my whole point is that if I want to talk to him and I want him to listen, I have to prepare him. So I have to be like, hey, I want to discuss this. Or I don't do it when we're laying down and in bed. Like, we turn off the TV and I'm like, hold on. But I'm not really good at that. I'm not. Like, it has to be in the room in bed. I don't know what it is. It all comes floating down when I'm laying horizontal. So, but I think just, I guess, preparing your spouse, like, maybe and this might be too extreme, but I am a planner. So I'm like, well, maybe we schedule our talks. You know, like, schedule like an hour a day or whatever. Hey, do you have anything to talk? And it doesn't even have to be an hour.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to share? No. You? No. Okay, cool. Move on. But I will always have something to share.
Yeah.
What else?
Explore effective communication techniques, which we kind of went through that during stressful periods.
We went through this too. Yeah. Well,
explore ways to build emotional resilience as a couple. And then there's another quote by Albert Einstein. In the middle of every difficulty lies opportunity.
Yeah, that is true. There's an opportunity to learn from every difficulty.
Yeah.
I have learned that. Like, whatever life has thrown at me, I'm like, okay, this sucks, but what can I learn from it? Or what did I learn from it? This was meant to be in my life for a reason, so there must be a lesson in it. So that's how I view difficulties too. That's a good quote. Yeah.
How do we build emotional resilience? I know a lot of times, like, there's not really ways you can prepare for stress. Like, you can't I guess you can prepare for stressful times in a sense by being, like, I guess, having a plan and by understanding how you're going to react to stress. There's a comment that I was trying to remember earlier, and it was along the lines of, like, handling your stress and your emotions but not letting them handle you, because a lot of times people's emotions will get high and their emotions take over, and then they go off of their emotions rather than being...
They go off of their emotions rather than
just being, like, level-minded and being like, okay, I know these emotions are things I'm feeling. So, like, if you and I, like, whenever we come home or the house is dirty, and that creates an emotion. But that emotion doesn't it doesn't define who I am or who you are, right? So if the house is dirty, well, it doesn't mean that I'm a bad husband. I'm just not caring about you and I'm not thinking about you. It's just sometimes things are overloaded because it's not something that's done purposefully. But a lot of times emotions will get to a certain level where you start to project that on your husband, like, you are a bad husband, or on your wife, you are a bad wife because you're going off emotion, rather than being okay, this is what I'm feeling. This is not what, I shouldn't take this out on that person.
How do you identify what your spouse needs during stressful times? Let's say we're both stressed.
Mm-hmm.
But as a married couple, I have agreed to put your needs before mine, and you've agreed to put mine before yours. But we're both stressed. But how do you identify my needs, my emotional needs, all of my needs, and vice versa?
Well, your emotions or your needs are identified by your present. You wear it, so you like when
I make it easy.
She's easy to find what her need is because she wears you wear your emotions on you. So if you're upset, your face shows it. If you're happy, your face shows it. If you're stressed,
Wow.
your face shows it.
I guess I make your life easy.
Yeah.
Mine is you don't really show it at all.
Well, because I don't deal with it often. I
It is
really
rare.
don't. I really don't. I tend to. I mean, I know there's things I cannot control, and if it's something I can't control and I can't change it, when I'm dealing with it or it's something that's coming up, if I have no control of it, then I try not to deal with it at all. It's not to the point to where like I just sweep it under the rug, but
Yeah.
I know I can't do anything about it. So a lot of times I just leave it up to God and be like, God, I know this is something that's out of my control. It's in your hands. Give me guidance, give me direction, and allow me to make the right decisions, because there are decisions that you still have to make going through things. Even with you. I mean, there's times that you're stressed out and you're high emotion and
Yeah,
I
lately?
come home and I'm like, irritated because of work and stuff, but I can't take that out on you. And sometimes I'm like, ugh, whatever.
Like last night at dinner when you were yelling at me about the cell phone, and
Yes,
that was
because we get told all the
uncalled
time for having cell phones at the
I
dinner
didn't
table.
have my cell phone at dinner.
She was watching a movie at the dinner table.
We always have the TV on.
But yeah, that was something that like you were trying to get out of your zone, and me and Carter were being annoying. So
Very. They made the most annoying sound in the world. Which we will not do right now. But yeah, I just was wondering, like, how do you look for those? Like, because there are signs. I give lots of signs, and I get triggered easily, and I'm like, okay. And sometimes I feel like you don't pay attention to those signs.
sometimes I don't. Sometimes I miss them, and it takes me a little while. When I do, though, I'm like, okay, I know what I need to do. I need to put the robot on to sweep and keep the floors clean so she can walk naturally. If clothes are backing up and getting
gosh.
crazy, I try to
I think,
get those put away and
but
washed
I think
and stuff.
it's more than just the cleaning. That's not. I feel
No, emotionally? Are you talking
yes,
more emotionally?
yes. I feel like you do a lot of the cleaning part because you think that's like the most stressful thing for me, but it's more than just that. You meet the house needs that stress me out, but what about my emotional needs?
Yeah.
That's what I mean is
So to that, I try to be more just there for you as far as hearing you, listening to what you're going through, and not really come with a solution, but babe, I love you. I'm here for you. I know this is tough, and
lately I've been really moody and irritable,
Yes.
obviously because of
Yes.
everything, and so I will catch myself telling him like, "Do you still love me?" Like the
Yes.
other day, he's like, "Yes, I love you." I was like, "But do you love me less?" Because
no, I don't love you less. Are you irritated with me? Yes.
Because I was just on one the other day. I was like, "Oh my god." But that's
those are
part
days
of
that we go
marriage.
through.
Yeah.
I mean, we're both gonna have those days. I've had days where I'm super quiet. I'm not my normal self. I'm overwhelmed at times, or there's things that come up, and that's where she's like asking me a question. Are you okay? What's wrong?
Yes.
You're being weird.
He's not being
You're not
his
being
usual
yourself. And I'm like,
self.
I don't know. I'm just.
That means I know something's up.
So.
That's the only way I know.
But she's always supportive in that too. Is you're always more affectionate with me. I noticed that. And those are things. And like her, when she's stressed, she doesn't want affection. She's like, don't touch me. Get away from me. I'm hot.
And when he's stressed, I do give you more affection.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
I'm like, I'm going to rub your scalp.
I like
rub
that.
your back.
But those are things that I try to do. I don't know. How many times do I miss the point of being supportive for you?
Last night you did.
Yeah. Yeah, we were giving her a hard time because she was watching a movie, and me and Carter were like, you're not supposed to be watching. We're having family time, and we're having dinner, and you're supposed to be present at dinner. Yeah. Because that is a rule.
Yeah, it is.
Or it's a wish, I guess. Not a rule.
Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. I can't really think, other than last night, babe, I can't think about priors because they're done. We're over it.
We were going to record last night, too, and no, that wasn't going to happen. That would have been a disaster, probably.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, we walked the dogs for an hour.
Which was nice.
It was. And then we came home and we were going to record. I'm like, I do not feel like putting on makeup today. It is 9 o'clock at night. We are not filming. Let's film tomorrow.
Yeah.
And, because we do film inside of the garage. I know, right? It doesn't look like a garage, but we do. It gets so hot in here in the evenings. So I feel like actually it's not as hot right now. So we need to start filming in the mornings.
Yes.
So until, fall and winter, then it's perfect in here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we do have a heater for that. But.
Summer's been the hardest part just because it does not.
Well, it's our first time filming in summer.
Yeah.
So it's definitely an adjustment. I'm like always, if you see me doing this, it's because I'm dabbing my sweat. Okay, because I don't want to be glistening. But yeah, it's been a ride. Huh.
We're learning.
We are.
It's a learning experience. That's for sure.
We started this podcast in January.
Was it?
Yep.
It was, huh?
We started in January 2023.
Yeah, January 1st.
Oh my gosh.
January.
I can't wait for the year. But anyways, so yeah, so this episode is just about how to navigate stress while nurturing your love, right? And sometimes those nurturing your love is missed, right? Because sometimes both spouses are stressed and it's just hard to communicate at times. But as human beings, we bounce back, we learn from the difficulty, we learn from our past mistakes, and we move forward and we try to be better the next time you're in a stressful situation or a stressful environment. So I would say that we both learn pretty well, like what I go through and what you go through, we just kind of learn from it and move on and make it better next time.
Yeah. Some of the things that I think is, anytime you're in a place of anxiety, stress, overwhelm, a lot of times we have a big portion of dealing with that or creating that. When we have anxiety, our belief is we cast that away. We give that to God, or we give that anxiety to Him. And how do you do that? How do you be like, oh, here's my anxiety, here you go? It's not that easy. It's something that you have to, a lot of times you got to speak with God. You got to just be like, man, God, today is not a good day. I'm overwhelmed. I feel like crap. I feel like, like things just aren't going my way. I don't know how to deal with stuff. And it's just a prayer. It's asking God to take that away and to give you peace, to give you direction, to give you strength. Because a lot of times in those times of stress, those are the first things that we lose. We lose our strength. We lose our clarity. We lose our direction. We lose our...
Yes.
And, I think when we learn to handle that properly, then we'll be able to walk more in peace in that situation.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's not easy to do because it requires sacrifice and it requires work. And the sacrifice part is you let loose. You give control over yourself to, God and allow him to take it. And you have to work on it because you have to constantly push down those thoughts or push down those emotions. And it's not always easy, especially if you're emotional and high emotion. So,
yes. So, with that being said, because we are coming to the close of this episode, we want to do a giveaway.
Yes, we want to relieve your stress.
Yes, we do. At least a little bit. A little self-care. So, here's the thing. One, there's a few things you need to do in order to be entered in this drawing. And then we'll probably go live, I don't know, Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. I'm not sure which platform yet. We will post it everywhere. But we will, or maybe we'll just do a video and do the drawing there. But we want to give you and your spouse a little bit of some relaxation time. And we do recognize that not everyone is local here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So if a local winner, if we have a local winner, you will get some certificate to a local spa, and you can use it with your spouse. If you do not have a spouse, that's okay. You can still win. Okay, just enter. And this is what you need to do to enter. 1, you need to like or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Actually, not like. Sorry. Subscribe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this episode, and share this episode.
Yes.
Those are the 3.
If you've already subscribed, share.
Then share it. Yeah, if you're already a subscriber to our YouTube channel or Spotify or mostly YouTube is what we're going for, right? Just share the episode.
YouTube and Spotify are big ones that we try and do.
They are. And also like our Facebook page, like our Instagram page, like our TikTok page. If you do all those things and you share the episode, you will get entered.
Yes. And then we are picking a winner.
I don't know when. When do you want to pick it?
I think we should do it. Well, we'll
you know what?
We should announce it.
Hold on. I think we need to give them time
Friday
to share.
Or Saturday.
We should give them time to share. We'll announce it at the next episode.
Okay.
Next Tuesday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which we'll probably have already reached out to you if you want. But
yeah. And if you're out of town and you win, you will get something similar for your hometown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a dinner for you and your loved one.
Maybe. We'll see. But yeah, it's going to be some certificate that's going to cause you less stress. It could be a massage. It could be a dinner and a movie. It could be, we will decide that. But we want to just give back a little bit because we know how hard life is, how hard life can be. And sometimes it's nice to get a little extra something in the mail if you're not here and go from there. So This is our first giveaway, guys. We would love it if you would partake and encourage other people to listen as well. Like if you think this is going to be helpful to somebody, share it. So subscribe, share, and like, please, this episode. And also, we would love to hear any success stories that you have had managing stress as well, or maybe what you do for your self-care.
Yes. It's not easy to deal with this stuff, especially if you're trying to deal with it alone. We always encourage you, get people around you that are encouraging to you, that will speak life into you. There's not one way to deal with everything. Mm-hmm. So use people that you have around you to help you manage stress or just speak life into you. Listen, just to listen.
Yes,
You know?
yes. So we are excited about next week's episode. We hope that you guys do subscribe and share this episode in order to enter that relaxation or stress-free drawing we're doing. We'll come up with a cool title. That's his job. So until next time, thank you for listening to Turning the Page with
Jer,
Angel.
have a great day, guys.
Bye.